And now I'll turn it over to Gareth. Welcome, Gareth.
Good morning. Thank you. As you've been told, so my name is Gareth McKee. I run Burnt Orange Solutions here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So over the next kind of 40 minutes to an hour, we're going to go over some best practices to keep your data, your business, and your livelihood safe. Basically, so you've still got a livelihood tomorrow. That's the kind of the aim. A little about me. So I've worked in the telecoms and the IT industry since the early 90s, initially in the British military, where I learned about IT security, telecom security, and that sort of stuff. Got out the army in 2003, had a couple of civvy jobs, and then set up Burnt Orange in the UK initially in 2008, before moving over to Canada in 2012 and keeping it running over here. Keeping the same name because we already had the t-shirts, and so, you know, why reinvent the wheel? So the original reason why I set up Burnt Orange was because my wife, who's a doctor, was dealing with medical IT support, which the world over is known as being pretty bad. So we set up Burnt Orange initially to help support the medical industry in the UK, and it grew out from there. Since being over in Canada, we've moved away from medics a little bit and gone into hospitality, accounting, legal, and some other areas as well. So today, again, about 40 minutes, we need to go over why you need to protect your data, a kind of overview of the current threat in the world at the minute, what the landscape looks like and how you are being attacked. Then we'll do a few hints and tips, just so you've got a little bit of education, so that maybe you can't do it yourself, but you do know what needs to be done, and you can contact a competent IT provider that will provide you the services that you need. Finally, we'll go over the #1 security threat that's in your business that antivirus, firewalls, etc. cannot protect you against. Okay, and this is why we do it. Okay, we all get up early in the morning, we go to the office, we work 12 hours a day so that we can provide for our families. It's my job to ensure that you can still do that tomorrow morning when you come into the office, to protect you against Russian criminal gangs and gangs from other countries as well. It's my job to protect your livelihood, to protect your family's income. Okay, so I hear this a lot. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this morning, is to realize that you are under attack. The fact that you are small or medium, whatever you want to call yourself, you are under attack, and you're under attack more often than the big guys. Okay, the big guys are actually hard to hack. You are not. You're easy. They spend millions and millions on defense, whereas you're spending a few $1,000s a year. You are an easy target. Okay, and that's the only thing. If you take nothing else away from this, remember that you are an easy target and that you are being attacked every day. So the big boys do spend millions on their IT security and their recovery projects, and even still they get hacked. So earlier this year, Indigo got hit, cost them $19 million. Back end of last year, Sobeys got hit, cost them $25 million. Back in the last year, Sick Kids in Toronto, they got hit. They were down for weeks, and were the others. Now, these guys have teams of people who are looking after their security and are looking after their recovery processes, and still they get hit, still they're down for weeks. It takes them weeks to recover. Small businesses in Saskatchewan are easy targets, and without the right processes in place, the right equipment, the right tools in place, you're going to be down for weeks as well. With the right tools in place, if you get hit, rather when you get hit, because it will happen, you need to have the right tools in place so you can recover as quickly as you possibly can. Your industry does get hit. Whether you're a hotel, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're a bar, whether you're a nightclub, your industry does get hit. And these are just some of them that have been hit over the past couple of years. Again, these are the big guys, and they spend millions defending themselves. You're spending a few thousand each year. You are going to get hit. It's just a matter of time. And to protect yourself, we need to get the right tools in place so that we can recover you. Here are a few up-to-date stats for you. I'll let you read them while they're up there. I won't just read the screen. But I think numbers 2 and number 3 are the important ones here. The first thing you need to do straight after this webinar ends is go and check your cyber insurance. See what exclusion clauses are in place. A lot of cyber insurance now will exclude ransomware. They know you are going to get hit. They know this because many of their other clients have been hit, and it's costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. So go and check that. Second, make it a company policy that you'll never pay the ransomware. We've helped several companies after the fact recover their data. We were called to an ad company in 2019 here in Saskatoon. They'd already been down for 2 weeks. They'd already paid $19,000 and they still didn't have access to their data and their backups had failed. We managed to get them back up and running in about a week. And we managed to recover about 60% of their data. And then we put in place proper tools, so should it happen again, they are protected. They're still our client and they haven't been hit since. So we must be doing something right. So what's it going to cost you? Let's look at a simple salary calculation alone. Again, you can read what's in front of you, and I'm sure you can guesstimate, by deflating or inflating these figures roughly on salary alone, what it's going to cost your business if you were hit by ransomware. But that's not the whole cost. Back in 2019 again, we looked after an accountant firm here in the city. Now, cards on the table, we are not the cheapest IT company in the city, not by a long way. But in my opinion, that's mine that counts, we are number 1 in the city here in Saskatchewan, in Saskatoon. So the monthly recurring invoice for this company was about $700. They wanted to save money, so they moved to one of the bigger national IT companies, saving themselves about $150 per month when they moved on to their security service. They believed the National Security Service was backing up their data. They believed they were keeping them safe with the firewall. They believed they were keeping them safe with their computers with antivirus and that sort of thing. As it turned out, they weren't. This security service that the national IT provider was giving them was nothing of the sort. So after being down for about a week, when they were hitting with ransomware, they gave us a call and said, look, this national IT company is not helping us. What can you guys do? Now, lucky for them, we did a test recovery of their backup 3 months earlier, just before they switched services. And we still had that backup. So they lost 3 months of data, which they had to recreate. They had to still keep going with their regular day-to-day stuff for their clients. So now this included a lot of overtime. Now, with staff wages, redoing the work, lost business because of loss of reputation, they estimated, bear in mind here, they saved $450 in 3 months. They estimated that in the first year alone, this is what that cost them. I just want to make sure, I know you all know which building that is. This company was not in that building. It was just the first picture that came up when I searched for a business building in Saskatoon. Okay, again and again, I'm going to call you, don't want to pick on you, but you are low-hanging fruit. Okay, it's much easier for the criminal gangs to get 10 times $10,000 than it is to hit somebody big like Indigo or a hospital and get 100,000. They're doing this every day, and it's much easier for them to hit you than it is a hospital. And again, they're spending millions on defense. You're not. Just to show that your industry is actually under attack, a few quick pie charts. Okay, this is general attacks, and there's your industry as part of the pie chart in North America. Another pie chart. So this is specifically ransomware that is hitting your industry. You see, if you saw it on the last pie chart, I think you used a number of 440,000. So that size of your chunk of the pie, I don't know, 50,000, I don't know. But anyway, you are getting attacked. You need to make sure you're defending yourself. So what type of attacks are you under? Okay, so we've got phishing. Phishing is an attack by email. It usually consists of an attachment which will look like a Word doc or a PDF file or something like that. And it usually has a virus attached to the email or code which will execute at a later date to download a virus or something similar. This requires a user action. This requires a member of your staff to actually try to open that Word doc. Okay? We've got spear phishing. This is about getting information from you that we can use at a later date. These are normally a little bit more targeted. They're aimed at CEOs, CFOs, executive assistants, that sort of thing. And they often include links to legitimate looking websites, really good legitimate looking websites that pretend to be someone like banks or PayPal or Google or Microsoft, whatever. And what they're trying to do is get you to put your details in, your username, your passwords, your cell phone numbers, and that sort of thing. Okay, over to the chat if we can. So we test our clients on how they're going to react to spear phishing. Okay, so what we do over a 2-month period, in the first month, every member of the staff will get 3 or 4 short 1-minute videos trying to help them to recognize what a dodgy email would look like, i.e., links that aren't going where they say they're going to go and that sort of thing. In the second month, once a week, every member of staff randomly, so not all at the same time, will receive an email that are very, very good. They look like they're coming from banks, PayPal, Google, Dropbox, wherever. And we see who clicks on these links, gives us their usernames, their passwords, their phone numbers, so that then we can find the gaps in education for people and then help to educate them. Okay, so in the chat, if you could please, there's one person in the business, and this is all business, that's 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, I'd argue, gives us a password. Who would that be? It's always the CEO. Always a CEO. We all get a CEO's password, whether it's banking, whether it's Gmail, wherever. It's always that person. Okay, so what type of attacks are there? So here's a list of types of attacks. Clear as mud? Good. Okay, they're all very geeky things, but what I'm trying to show you here is there are many different types of attacks that you are under. Each type of attack is attacking you in a different way. Therefore, you need to defend yourself in many different ways. Okay, it's an old military adage that you should defend in depth. And the same goes for your network. The same goes for your data. Okay, so it's not just about having an antivirus or a good firewall. There's many different steps that we need to accomplish to make sure you are as protected as you possibly can be. Cybercrime today is big business. It's organized. These are real businesses. They've got CEOs, CFOs, admin teams, dev teams, marketing teams. They are no different from you and me. The only probably difference is that they're richer than you and I are. So on the dark web, there are many things you can buy. Credit cards, hacked PayPal accounts, viruses. You can actually buy viruses to set up your own cybercrime unit, your cybercrime business. You can do that. Okay, and they're very, very cheap. So again, over to the chat, please. How much in US dollars would you think it would cost on the dark web to purchase 2,000 hacked banking logins? Microsoft, Google, etc., they're responsible for their hardware, their network. They're responsible for providing that service to you that you want. The data there is your responsibility. You need to ensure your data that's in the cloud is backed up separately. Don't think that OneDrive, Dropbox, etc., because there's a copy there, there's a copy here, that it's safe. It's not. You get hit with a ransom, that's going to be encrypted as well. So you need to make sure it's backed up elsewhere. And there's lots of different services out there that you can use, or you can come to a company like Burnt Orange Solutions and we'll help and do it for you. But you need to be aware that the data is your responsibility. If you lose it, it's up to you, okay? So what is a small and medium business strategy to do? How do you defend yourself? You do hospitality, whether you're a hotel, a restaurant, a bar, an events venue, and I'm going to go out on a limb to say that you're probably very good at what you do. Well, so are we. We're good at IT. I can't cook, which is why I married a doctor who was a chef before she was a doctor. Yes, I married up just a little bit. I'm not the best at making beds, and I wouldn't know where to start in running a nightclub. This is why I do IT. I do IT. You should be doing hospitality. You should be running your hotel, running your nightclub, running your bar. Let us, or someone like us, look after your IT security, look after your data, make sure your computers are running the way they should be run. Just a little funny slide for you. I'm sure most of you have used these, at least one of these over the years. Periodically, we provide security audits for our clients. This involves hacking passwords. At least that's not all we do, but there's one of them. You'll be amazed how often we find easy passwords like these, even after years of education from us to our clients. You can lead a horse to water, etc. And again, it's mostly the CEOs with passwords like 1234, or the name of their children, or the name of their dog. So, what does a good password actually look like? I understand it's difficult to remember 100 passwords, especially if those 100 passwords all look like the one at the top of this slide here. You should be using different passwords for every website, but I know that's really unrealistic for most people. So a few ideas. Use passphrases, not passwords. So most of the time these days, you can have spaces in your password. That now means they can get longer. It can be a phrase that you remember that means something to you or means nothing at all to you, but it's a word, it's a sentence that you can remember. Okay. All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. Are you Star Trek fans out there? Tea, Earl Grey, hot. The big thing here is length. Microsoft changed their recommendations. It used to be we change our passwords every day, every month. That's now changed. It's all about length. By changing them every month, they were short, easy to hack, and the user, the staff member, was having to reset them twice a month anyway because they forgot the new one that they set up only yesterday, and they was now not doing their work and they were bothering IT and so on and so forth. So now we're going for length, but we're not changing them every month. Microsoft latest is change every 9 months. Okay, make it longer, make it more uncrackable. Better still, get a password manager. These are a few companies that provide this service. What it does, it takes the passwords that you use out of your browsers because they're inherently insecure in your browser. And it stores them encrypted and secure in the cloud. Okay, and you have a little add-on in your browser that says, when I go to Microsoft, what's my password? And it goes to the cloud, gets it, and does it all encrypted, and then can't be stolen. You only need to remember one master password, and you can now make this one master password super, super, super strong. You only need to use it once a day when you log on first thing in the morning, and then everything else is looked after for you. Again, these are the few companies that do provide this service. We personally recommend Keeper to our clients. We manage it all for them, and we support them, and we help them. Next, business firewall. I'm mouthful of my coffee, sorry. So I refer you to the story that I told you earlier about the Saskatoon accountancy firm. Saving money here is a false economy. It's when you are going to get hit, not if you are going to get hit. You need to make it as difficult as possible for the criminals. The firewall is the first line of defense, and this is not an area we should be scrimping on the cost. Okay, I'm sure that $139 gaming router is fine for home, playing Fortnite and your kids playing whatever, but this is not your home, this is your business. Spend a little extra money, make your business safe. Again, which one would you rather protect your business? Which one do you want to protect your livelihood? Which one do you want to protect your family's income? Okay, antivirus. We all know the value of antivirus. We've all been maybe attacked by a virus and the antivirus product has come up and said, you know, you're being attacked. Do you want me to quarantine it or delete it or whatever? It's happened to most of us at least once over the years. It's the first line of defense on your devices themselves. My bugbear here is free antivirus. Free antivirus is as much use as a chocolate teapot. Something that is free for a reason. We look after a company in a small city just outside Saskatoon. And the owner of that business is also 50% owner in another business. And the other 50% of that business is a man who believes that all the viruses are actually released, made, created by the antivirus companies. It's a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. Now, this company has hundreds of thousands of SKUs. They rent out equipment. They sell equipment like spanners and screws and gloves. And they rent out, I don't know, cherry pickers and generators and so on and so forth. They've got hundreds of thousands of SKUs and hundreds of pieces of equipment rented out. A few years ago, they were hit with ransomware. They went to a local company to try and help them recover, and they couldn't. And the conspiracy theorist was a bit embarrassed. They worked with their database provider, and it was 3 months until they had a database with no data in it. It was 12 months before that database was up and working fully again. And this is not with the old data. This is re-inputting all the SKUs and serial numbers, et cetera, of the kit that they knew they had. They lost, because they didn't know where the things were, several hundred pieces of equipment, like generators and that sort of stuff. They didn't know where they were. They couldn't phone to say, you know, you're due to give us that back. So look after your data. Do not have free antivirus. What's reasonably new these days, it's been out for a few years now, but what's reasonably new is what's called an app blocker or a whitelister. Now, essentially what this does is kind of antivirus on steroids. Think of it that way and you're doing fine. What it actually does, it initially learns your computer, learns every bit of code on there. And then once it knows that, you lock it down and any changes are not allowed to run. Okay. Now, many viruses these days, modern viruses, can get around antivirus. They get around antivirus by injecting themselves into the Word.exe that runs Word or Excel.exe that runs Excel, etc. And they're able to run because they kind of hide in plain sight, if you like. What an app whitelister does, or an app blocker, if any data changes on that computer, it just simply cannot run. So now you're at the point where you can download 1,000 viruses if you want. Doesn't matter. They can't run because they're new data, and they're just not allowed to. So although you have to have antivirus for insurance policies, these are easily got around. What you need is an app blocker, an app whitelister, and there's a couple of examples of companies around the center icon there. So Threat Locker, Veronix, and Manage Engine. They all roughly do the same thing and work in the same way. We actually recommend Threat Locker. That's what we deploy and manage for our clients and keep them safe. You must ensure you update all the software on your computers and keep the patching up to date. I'm sure you all look after your trucks, and these items depreciate in value the second you drive it off the forecourt. And we look after them better than we look after our kids. And yet, this is how we treat our computers in the office. This is what's bringing in your income. This is what's keeping your family in the lifestyle that they've become used to. Okay? This is my best Saskatchewan analogy. So you've got a truck and you're driving cross country, and your front left tire is 100% inflated, your front right 75, your rear left 25, and your rear right's on its rim. You haven't got a very comfortable ride. Now imagine that's a computer. Your operating system's 100% patched. Microsoft Word's 75% patched, your Adobe's 25% patched, and your Java, QuickBooks, whatever, isn't patched at all. So now you've got a computer that's like this, okay? So patching and software upgrades from us, from a geeky point of view, keeps you safe, keeps the criminals out, keeps you as safe as you possibly can be from people attacking you. From your point of view, it's worth spending the money and the time on doing this because it makes your computers faster, more stable, and more secure. When Microsoft release a new bit of code, any bit of code out here, QuickBooks, Java, Adobe, if it needs to talk to your Microsoft software, these guys need to release a new patch as well that corresponds with it. Okay, this is why your computers slow down, because you're not doing your patching, you're not doing your updating. Okay, this is why you can only print on a Tuesday when the moon is in Virgo. You know, you're having to close Outlook 2 or 3 times a day. You're having to reboot your computer once a day. It's all about patching. Do this properly and your computers will look after you. Cell phones are computers. They need to be protected also. You need to have antivirus products and app whitelisting products on your cell phones too. Data can be stolen from here as well. You probably spend a lot more time browsing on your phone than you do on your computer. You can easily go to a dodgy website, download a virus, and your phone's done. Okay. One thing to the side of this, make sure someone else knows the code to your phone. If you get hit by a bus tomorrow, someone else might need to access your phone. Okay, write it down, put it in the cupboard at home. Your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids, someone knows your code. Web protection. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 links there. So again, quickly in the chat, which one is not a real link? Which is going somewhere that it shouldn't be going? Thank you, Amy. Yep, the Office one. They're actually all going somewhere they shouldn't be going. Okay, CBC Online isn't a thing. If you look at www.google, Google got 2 L's in it. Yep, you can see that the Office has got 2 I's in it. Tim Horton's got 2 I's in it as well. So why am I showing you this? We've all got 10 hours work to do in an 8-hour day. So we're rushing. Okay, we need to have everybody from the CEO downwards educated to learn to take a breath. When something comes in with a link, just pause, take a breath, count to 2, hover over the link for a second, make sure it's going where you think it's going. Better still, there are several companies out there that offer a service called web protection or DNS filtering. What this does, these products, they scan the internet every day, looking for dodgy websites and also looking for legitimate websites which have been infected. Okay, so let's say the Royal Bank of Scotland's website had been infected. These services would not let you access that website, but they would let the Royal Bank of Canada know. And when they cleaned their website again, they would then allow you to get at it. Okay, so this is protection against downloading viruses from places where you shouldn't be going anyway. Last thing, education. Education for all of your members of staff. Again, CEO down, twice a year for an hour, just with someone like me who's going to go through what the latest threats are and what you can do to protect yourself. Okay, backups. Hopefully you've all got a backup of your data and you do it daily. The only guarantee you've got of recovering from a ransomware or similar is a good backup. Don't have them locally. Don't have them on a USB drive that's attached to your computer, because if your computer gets hit with ransomware, it's going to encrypt the backup as well, and that's no good to anybody. Get the human out of the equation, okay? Have software, have services, have a product, go to a company like Burnt Orange, get them to look after it for you, get it reported on, and get it tested, okay? Test, and test it again. A backup that's not been tested, again, is as much use as a chocolate teapot, because when you want that backup to help you recover, you can't. The number of times we've been called into companies where their backup has failed because they've not been testing it, I can't even count, okay? The last time I worked for a normal company, i.e. not my own, just many moons ago now, we had to restart our email server on a Friday evening. 5 o'clock came, restarted the email server didn't come back up. Now, we had our backup software report to us every day. Backup was success. Backup was success. Fantastic. Don't worry, we've got the backups on tape. We'll just recover till last night. Thursdays, we couldn't recover. Wednesdays, we couldn't recover. Tuesdays, we couldn't recover. Mondays, we couldn't recover. And we couldn't recover from last Fridays either. We had to go back 3 months to our quarterly backup, which we were able to recover from. So because we trusted the backup software, we lost 3 months of data. We should have been recovering. A lesson I learned, and a lesson that I bring to all of our clients. All of our clients have their backups tested at least once a month, so that we know that should the worst happen, we can recover them. You all know what this is, two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. There's many services out there that now use it. And if any of your services that you use, Microsoft 365, your banks, Google, whatever, if they offer the service, use it. It's also now available for desktop logins. And some industries, the legal industry now in Saskatchewan, require that you have multi-factor authentication for remote logins. So you have to have it. So let's get it in place. Storytel, company that became one of our clients, another ad company, they were getting hit. Their emails were getting hacked. Someone was trying to hack their emails by brute force, just trying to guess passwords, and they were getting locked out all the time, and they couldn't work out why. So they asked us to come in. So we made that, we moved their email to a different provider because the one they were on was not great. But we put strong passwords, multi-factor authentication, that these security services in place to make them much safer. And since we did our little bits of magic, their email service is running fine. Okay, all software is hackable. Okay, you must make sure you're upgrading everything. If you can get an AV for your bit of software, whether it's your TV, whether it's your phone, whether it's your Mac, whether it's your Windows, whether it's your, whatever, get AV on it. Get a whitelister, get a blocker on it. When updates are available, get them on your device. Often viruses can get around a network by using devices like printers that have not been updated for years, and we come across this often when we go into a new client. Okay. To prove my point that any software gets infected, note it is not all Microsoft at the top. So this is 2021. For all you Linux lovers out there, Linux is at the top, or near enough. And cell phones, they are not safe. Get security on your cell phones. Okay, 2022, again with the cell phone at the top and Linux. But now, for all you Linux lovers out there, this is this year. So Microsoft is not having a good year, but this is the product that most of us use in our businesses. We need to have security in place. Okay, we need to have antivirus, app lockers, patch updating, backups. They must be in place so that should the worst happen, when it happens, we can get you recovered and get you moving again. Okay, what is the #1 threat to you that antivirus and your firewalls cannot defend you against? Okay, there's your staff members. Again, like we said, 10 hours work and an 8-hour day. People clicking on things, people bringing in USB sticks that they found in a pub, go into websites. They shouldn't. It is just happening. They need education to slow them down, to make sure that the 2 seconds that they didn't take a breather before they clicked on a link doesn't cause your network to go down for 3 weeks. Thank you for your time this morning. I hope you've learned something.
Thank you so much, Gareth, for all that information. I was taking notes and learning a lot. When you talk about password managers and the different types, currently I use Keeper as well. So
Oh, good.
again, I use it on my cell phone. I have all my stuff stored there. So yeah, I can attest to that. Really good information around, keeping your software updated and making sure that you do those patch updates just to make sure that things are connected well. And thanks for reviewing the different types of attacks between, a phishing attack and a spear phishing attack and what those look like. So,
Pleasure.
um, well done overall. And to everyone, thank you for joining us today. Again, Tourism Saskatchewan is proudly, you know, here to support all of everyone in the tourism industry. And I'd like to encourage all the attendees to take a few minutes at the end of this webinar that you will be sent a survey link that I would ask that you can kindly complete the survey. It again helps us move forward with the types of topics and the types of training that we are then providing out to all of our stakeholders. Again, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time with one of our webinars. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.